Hello, this is Mr. Stone. This video is about physical and chemical properties and changes. To be able to identify examples of chemical and physical properties, define both physical and chemical change, and be able to distinguish between chemical and physical changes. This is important because knowing the physical and chemical properties of a substance are keys to know how the substance can be used. Alright, so a quick little review of matter. Remember, matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. So really, matter is everywhere. Consider this bowl of ice cream. You might describe it as cold, brown in color, or even smooth in texture. These would be examples of physical properties. So physical properties are characteristics of a material that can be observed without changing the identity of the material itself. Melting and boiling points, density, hardness, conductivity, these things do not change the substance, they just describe the substance. Candles have different properties than ice cream. For example, you can burn a candle. This is an example of a chemical property. Other examples include tarnishing, flammable as we said, reacting with acids, even non-flammable is a chemical property. So chemical properties are the ability or inability of a substance to combine with or change into one or more new substances. We observe matter. Much of the time we realize matter is changing or has the ability to change. Here is an example of ice changing into liquid water. Because it's still water, this is what we consider a physical change. So what is a physical change? Any change in the size, the shape, or the state of matter in which the identity of the substance is unchanged. Often these changes are reversible. Consider the water. We can freeze it back into ice pretty easily. What do you notice happening in this picture? Yeah, we can see there is a change happening. We have a liquid mixing with a powder that's a solid, and we get the presence of a gas forming. This is what we would call a chemical change. So these are changes where one or more of the substances changes into another substance. They are not easily reversed. Other examples include burning or exploding, rusting, and even rotting or spoiling. We know a chemical change has taken place if we see things like changes in color or odor, if there's bubbling or fizzing, if light is produced, smoke happens, or even if heat is generated. Notice in the example here, this paper is on fire. It's changing color, it's turning black. If you were there, you could smell the paper burning. Smoke is produced. We see light. You could feel the heat appearing. This is a chemical change. Alright, so now it's your turn to try to classify these examples as being either physical or chemical. So how'd you do? Water evaporating, that's a state change. It's still water, so that's physical. A baseball going through a window, it breaks the window, but the window is still a window, so that is physical. Dissolving salt in water, we get salt water, but we could get the salt back just by evaporating the water off, so that also would be a physical change. Remember, chemical changes are difficult to reverse. So a bicycle rusting, that would be tough to undo. The rust is a new substance, that is a chemical change. Baking a cake, same thing, chemical change. You can't unbake a cake. Old ham turning green in the fridge, chemical change. Grilling a hamburger, once that hamburger's grilled, you can't ungrill it. It too is a chemical change. Alright, so how'd you do? Can you identify examples of chemical and physical properties? Can you define both physical change and chemical change? Are you able to distinguish between chemical and physical changes? Alright, so this is Mr. Stone, and I hope this video helped.